Hello, hello. I thought I'd do another allotment update. This year, I think it's the 24th of May, something like that. And we had some rain last night, some proper rain. So the soil is looking, well, in amongst the stones and flints, the soil is looking darker than it was yesterday. So yeah, the plants and me are both very relieved about that. So anyway, let's have a look what's going on. So starting in the greenhouse. So because we've had so much sunshine, I got the basil in quite early, and you can see it's actually doing really well in here. So I can't remember when I planted it, about 8 weeks ago, and it's looking great in amongst the tomatoes. The tomatoes are also looking pretty well. Those were sown in March, I think. So this at the moment is looking lovely. I'm hoping to get loads of basil here, because a couple of years ago I had some and it just kept on producing hugely. Oh look, there's also I think a hoverfly larvae, or maybe a ladybird larvae. I get a bit confused. Anyway, there's one there. So he or she is ready to mop up any troublemakers in here. And there's a few other bits and bobs of seeds here, but most of the stuff is now outside, because of the sunshine. So we've got growing here. This is a sort of fruity bit. So we've got some blueberries growing here, gooseberries as well, doing nicely. So all looking quite nice here, with some, I could say interplanting, but just lots of lovely flowers in between. So for some late forget-me-nots and some poached eggplant. Then over here we've got some self-seeded Viper's bugloss. So that's really got loads of buds, and that's amazing. So that's going to be just full of bees for weeks coming up soon. And also at the back there we've got a hollyhock, which I think I planted a couple of years ago. Oh, there's some mint in there as well. Survival of the fittest in action. So that's going to look really lovely in a few weeks. Yeah, so that's lovely. And then yeah, I've planted a lot of things out earlier than I would normally do, because it was so dry and warm. And then blow me, Thursday night, so the 22nd of flipping May, we had some frost. So look, so that one I think has had it. This is a gourd as well that's been out for quite a long time, and so interestingly, some of the leaves got frosted and the others didn't, because I'm on, I don't know if I show up, you probably can't see, but I'm on a bit of a slope, so the cold air sinks down on my allotment down to here. So it almost looks here like it's sunk down to the bit on the right hand side, and then the rest were okay. There was a little microclimate, so it's quite interesting. Over here as well, so that one is okay apart from one leaf. So it's all very bit strange, but those were the only plants that were infected. And then if I show you, just so there's the one that's dead from the frost, and then if I go along level with it, there's a couple of courgettes that are completely fine. So it went down to about 3 or 4 degrees generally, but down here I think it was a bit colder. So yeah, so that's a shame for those, but not to worry, I've got plenty. And then I've got, this is some tarragon, which I sowed at the beginning of last year, and look, it's come up again, which is amazing. Is that tarragon in the middle? It looks like it's either got a tarragon, or now I look at it over there, what's sort of a, well, I'll go down. So this is last year's purple loosestrife, which seeded itself here, arrived, and then those are the new growth, and they might actually be the same. I don't know, there's something growing in the middle of that which I've just spotted. That big stem doesn't look like the rest of the tarragon, but because it's got red at the base of the stems, whereas the tarragon here doesn't. So, well, tune in later episodes to see what on earth that is. It could be a willow herb, it could be a loosestrife, I don't know. Anyway, so then we've got the bergamot, which again I sowed from seed last year. Both of those I didn't really expect to come up again, because it gets very cold and wet, and it was very cold and wet last winter, but here they are. So that's lovely. The salsify is resplendent, doing its thing when it flowers in the morning and then closes up by, because it's around, what is it, it's about 1 o'clock now, so it closes up pretty much now, which is unusual. Then here's the herby bit. I've got chives, I've got parsley, I've got some fennel, I've got all sorts of stuff in there really, but it looks very pretty. I just always forget to harvest the stuff to use it. That's the problem, which is a bit hopeless. Anyway, the next bed, so these are more gourds coming up here. Again, not touched by the frost, and now we've had some rain. It's a bit more cloudy, they're a bit more mild, I'd say. Not so hot and sunny, but milder and better at night for the plants. So they're okay. Then over here are some of the climbing French beans. So these are the Cherokee Trail of Tears. So these are seeds I collected from the plants last year, and they're looking good. They're looking really nice and healthy. So they've been out for about 10 days or so, planted out. So they're looking good. And then I've got some spaces there where I'm going to do a later sowing in another couple of weeks to try and get a longer supply. And this is I think ash cuttings for a neighbour to the allotment who had a pile of these and wanted to know if anybody wanted them, so I nabbed them all, and there's loads more stuff all around the place, so that's very handy. It's nice to use things like that rather than canes, really. Canes are okay, but they don't last that long, and they're a bit, I don't know where they come from. So anyway, so that's nicer, that's good. Talking of things from neighbours, so an allotment neighbour also had a delivery of a huge pile of chippings, which included these amazing silver birch logs. Beautiful. So he didn't want them, didn't know what to do with them. So I've got them basically for wildlife interest. They'll rot down, could provide habitats for all sorts of insects and beetles and things, and also for fungi in the autumn as they rot down. There's also there's another birch over there. I think it's a birch. Yeah, there's a couple more over there. There was a lot of them. There's a huge pile. I think the chap said, I've got a few chippings to deliver, and a couple of logs in there. Is that okay? And he was like, yeah. Well, it's a mountain. Well, I don't know if you can see it in the distance over there. That's the back end of it. It's huge, taking up half an allotment. Anyway, so then next bed. So we've got some potatoes here, looking really lovely. I mean, I do love the sight of an earthed up potato with moist soil after some rain. It's very, very comforting and pleasing, and these ones are looking just lovely and healthy. These are Cara. I think I went for Cara this year for main crops, so there's some of those there. Then, a triumph. Here are my Magnum Bonum peas. So it is definitely my favourite pea to grow. It grows to about, I don't know, 6-7 feet tall. So you can see now it's really got going. It's got great big juicy stems and strong growth, and that's about 3.5 foot tall, I think. So it should, with the magnificent support I have put together, hopefully it'll keep growing up. But it looks really healthy now in the rain. It will like the rain. So that's one of the peas, and I've protected it so far, touching any wood I can. Oh, there we go. Protect it from the pigeons initially, but then the deer pesk along, and they've been chomping other things. But I'm hoping it's over the worst threats, and it can just keep going taller. Then these are the second in line broad beans. So there's a nice ladybird there, because there's quite a lot of there's a fair amount of black fly this year. I don't know if that's because the plants have been very dry, despite watering. They've been very dry, so they've maybe got a bit stressed, which means that they're a bit more prone to black fly attack, because these ones were planted early, and the idea is that they're ready before black fly. But look, there's another ladybird there. So there's the soldiers, the army against the black fly has arrived. And the plants are looking pretty healthy, and they've got lots of flowers, so that's nice. Over here, my support for the cane, these are the raspberries. They've been going, I don't know how many years, 10, 12 years, maybe longer. And I always read that they last about 5-6 years, and then you replace them. Well, these have been going on for ages, and we get masses of them every year. So I'm not touching them at the moment. They're looking pretty well. My support, my canes, just gets more rubbish every year, really. I mean, it's just hopeless. So at the moment it seems to be keeping a few of them in place, but I have no idea, really. Hopeless. So one year, maybe next year, there's always next year, I'll do something about it and actually get some proper support around the outside so they don't all collapse. Because it just makes picking them and moving around them pretty impossible in another month or so. But we shall deal with that then. So here's the first lot of broad beans that's on the way. So look at that lovely big clump, looking really nice. Those supports I was quite proud of. I mean, they're collapsing now, but they were quite good for a bit. And then let's see. There's again some black fly. Look, there's a ladybird there. There's a ladybird over there. There's a ladybird over there. There's lots. I can see them all over. There's loads of them all here, trying to feast, lay their eggs and feast on the black fly. And these are the ones where the beans are starting to come, I think. So here we go. Look. So they're not far off ready, because once they get to this stage, they do grow pretty quickly. So those aren't too far off at all. I mean, you could eat those, but let them get a bit bigger and then start on them. So that's all looking good too. The benefits of retirement. I'm here nearly every day, keeping an eye on things, which is just lovely. And then over here, so these are just some cuttings that I took, and some seedlings which are going to go out at some point. I've got some sarcococca and some salvia there that I did cuttings of last autumn or spring, which reminds me I need to take some more. Here's some outdoor tomatoes. So again, this is done really because it's been so dry and sunny, so I've put them out here. Because I think what I've said before, what I do is I try and plant out anything, not so much tomatoes, but anything that slugs might attack when it's really dry, the soil, and then they get established. And then when the rain does come, the plants are stronger and established, and the slugs don't really bother with them so much, he says, hopefully. But it does seem to work. So yeah, dry soil is the best time to plant out seedlings, I think. And over here, sweet corn. And then again, very strangely, so look, I've got loads of nasturtiums that have seeded themselves there, which are lovely, so they'll romp around the plot. And then I've got more here, and then another one there, and then over here, in the middle of it all, there's one that got frosted, which is really strange. It's really, very interesting in terms of little microclimates. So my theory I've got a bit of a theory, is that lot up there protects the nasturtiums immediately behind them, so stops the cold air from getting to them, but then the cold air swoops along and then hooks around, and then all ended up pointing at this one, is my theory. That's what it looks like anyway. So yeah, interesting. Oh, more logs. Oh, I mean, aren't they amazingly beautiful logs? Look at those, more logs. Big logs. So these are all from that pile of stuff next to me, and they're just lovely. They're going to be giving interest and fun for years to come. Then over here, so we've got, this is my so I've only just finished eating the purple sprouting broccoli, and then here, so the first 6 plants there are sprouts. So again, they're doing really well. So they got in when the soil was dry, gave them a good water, and now they're in great condition, looking really healthy. These are purple sprouting broccoli, and these look textbook, look beautiful, magnificent. So I'm very pleased with them, and I've got the netting over to stop the pesky pigeons, but they seem to be doing really well. I try not to water them, even when it's dry. I've tried to because there's still was moisture in the soil, so I've tried not to overwater them, with the hope that they send down deeper roots rather than just lots and lots of water. And they seem to be thriving, so that's great. And a few lettuces in there, a cash crop, I think they call that in technical jargon. Basically just growing things while other things are little in the gaps to make the most of the space. So then these, now here's the third lot of broad beans. Now these ones look not quite so good. So this one, they seem to be getting a bit of a battering from the black fly. Some are okay, and some are not. So I will wait to see. There's not much point in taking the tops off those ones in the middle, because they're quite small and short. Some of the other plants, the big ones, look okay, so I'll just wait and see what happens on those. Hopefully the ladybirds and stuff will arrive and do something, but if not, it's not the end of the world. But we shall see. I'll probably get some, but not so many off those ones. I've got some radish planted in amongst them as well, which are doing quite well. Again, I've been watering those a little bit every day, so they're actually looking quite nice. Starting to radish up. I think radish up. It's a windy day, and I keep hearing strange sort of branch cracking noises, as if I'm in a horror film and there's a baddie behind me. But there isn't, and I'm not, so that's okay. So then here's some red veined sorrel. So we've been having it. Now this is, I sowed this last spring. Didn't think it would. I thought it was an annual. never check on things like that, obviously. But it's not. It's come up again, and we've been eating it already. But now you can see it's obviously perennial. It's starting to send up some flower spikes, I think. So it's made a very, very good risotto. When you sort of basically get it all shredded a bit, put it in with some peas in a risotto, and it goes all, the risottos are really lovely and pink, and if the leaves are getting a bit tougher because it's turned into flower, they've done quite well. So I'll have another try with that. It may get too tough at some point, but it looks beautiful, doesn't it? Although I've been warned it can take over, so I might have to move it a little bit into another area. But yeah, it's a lovely plant, beautiful colours. Then this is a dwarf pea, oh my lord, which, oh look at that, that's ready. There's a pea ready, my first pea. And another one there, first pea, so wow. So that's very exciting. So this is another thing that's been, I've tried to protect it from the pigeons and deer and stuff. They've had a bit of a nibble the other day. It doesn't look the strongest, most amazing pea in the world, but I've got a few on, so that's nice. So I might take those, I might nibble those now. I'll just show you, I sowed some more, a second crop of those, and look, they've been completely and utterly pigeoned. So I'm now trying to cover them, but they may be dug out and replaced by something, because I'm not sure they'll recover from that, but we'll see. Then outdoors here, this is a salady area, so more basil out here, not doing quite as well as the one in the greenhouse. And then beetroot and golden chard, so those are to use as salad, little baby leaves, so they're about ready actually now, so I can start picking those, I think, which I might do today as well. And there's a row of carrots there as well, so this is a bit of a salady area. And then, oh, so much going on, isn't there? It's just amazing, and it's still May. So this is the next bed. So this is I've got a couple of carrots in the first bed. Then we've got 2 rows of golden chard, then 2 smaller rows of perpetual spinach. Then I've got some lettuces and some rocket that's perennial, that's seeded itself. Then when I go beyond that, I've got some beetroot in there. Then I've got just some marigolds. I've put a load of seedlings there. And then this one here is a golden something mange too. So it has these beautiful, beautiful flowers. So look, there's a flower, and if you look inside them, ooh, that's not very good filming, is it? Let me try. Rather than me move, let me try and move the flower. Let's see. Here we go. There we go. So look at that. Really, really pretty. And then very handily, when the mange 2 come, they're bright yellow, so you can't miss them. So I'm all for being helped to spot my mange 2. Life is difficult when you need to find your own mange 2 on a plant and they're green. So yeah, so they're doing okay. They grow quite tall. And again, my support for them is just, yeah, it's a bit ropey, isn't it? But they seem to be doing okay. And then behind that, I've just sown just this morning. I love this jute. Rather than plastic, I'm going to spin round. I've got like this jute, basically string, and it looks lovely, even if it's rubbish. So I've got another row of Magnum Bonum, those very tall peas, the first ones we looked at. And then I've got some mange 2. Wait a minute, no, Sugar Snap. These are Sugar Snap there, in that one. So they both grow tall. So they're set in place, ready to grow. So yeah, and it looks splendid. I say, even if they don't grow, I still like the look of it. And then finally, finally sort of, here's the potatoes, finally on the plot. So these are the main crop. Again, looking really, really healthy. This one here was late coming up, that one was late coming up, but they're now catching up. So that's a lovely, I mean, it looks lovely and green, especially considering I think the season is definitely early after that sunshine, because normally I wouldn't be anywhere near this, I don't think. I mean, look, it's looking pretty full already. Amazing. So yeah, a couple more little updates as well. So there's the rhubarb. So I've made shed loads of jam. Shed loads of chutney, and it's still huge, but isn't it magnificent? It's just a beautiful, beautiful, amazing plant. Amazing. And then I've got the beds of garlic, so there's one, there's another. They're looking all right. They're in there to avoid the white rot, and they're looking fine at the moment. I mean, they look very good, so we shall see. I'm always a bit sort of a bit careful with getting excited about the garlic looking all right, because usually it's got white rot. Even in these, somehow it seems to get in there, but at the moment looking good. And then this is interesting. So here is, so it's an apple tree. It's a bit exposed, so it's quite blowy, so I might need to move it actually, because I think it's a bit too blowy. But I've only just got it, and it's in this container. That, by the way, that's not my allotment. This is next door's. So what I've done is I've been reading a thing called Hugulkultur. I think that's how you pronounce it. So in this container, about half of it is very, very old, rotten wood. And the thinking is, what the idea is, when you put it in there, and then as it rots, it becomes like a sponge. And this stuff is like a sponge. I mean, when I found it, it was buried we needed to move it. It was a buried old stump, and it was like a sponge. As you squeezed it, water came out. So you put that in the bottom, then you put compost on the top, then you plant the tree into the top, and it sends roots down, and it's like a store of water, a natural store of water in the bottom there. So that's what I'm trying in here, because theoretically what would happen over time is that it will all sink down, and in a few years you'd need to replace it. But I'm trying that out, so because you can do the same with beds. You can get this, put the idea is you put this wood underneath the beds, and then you put the soil and the compost on top, and it's like a sponge and a reservoir of water, so it helps with drought conditions and stuff. So yeah, so this is my first experiment with this, with some more logs from, of course, next door on the top, to stop it falling over, or to help stop. So yeah, so that's interesting. It's a variety of apple called Laxton Superb, which is my favourite apple, and you can't get in the shops. So that's that one. So yes, let's see how that goes. And also I have a new composting technique. So I have 3 bins. I'm going to step back. 3 bins. So that one was the one that was full and ready to be used. This one was the one I was filling up in the spring and got full, and then that one, the black one, was the current one that I put stuff into. So the green one there, that's now been used. That's all on the plot. The middle one, so my rule is I never put anything into the compost heap that hasn't been chopped up finely, which explains, I was trying to work out why I've got holes in the bottom of this container. It's because I've been chopping the compost. That's just my thing. So that won't be good for making a mini pond, that's for sure. But look at this. So I think it's about 3 months since I filled this up. But look how lovely that is. I've been using it today. I'm amazed. It's my best compost ever. Normally my home composting is a bit rubbish, to be honest. But look at there's lots of life going on there as well. Loads and loads of creatures sort of feasting on it and sorting it all out. Really, really good. So I've been using it today, and it's amazing. It's really, really nice. I mean, it'll get finer, but that's amazing. So that's a huge success. Wait a minute, bang. Oh, I can't get the lid on, sorry. Anyway, that'll do. Yes, so that's just about it, I think, really. So we've got along the bed for pollinators and wildlife. You can see there, where the comfrey's out. There's alliums. Got a few green gages growing over here. More all sorts of plants. I can't remember what that is. It might be the giant scabious. Might be. And then there's more of the the wild sorrel or dock. Those are huge leaves. I think they're some sort of mullein or valerian, verbascum, mullein or verbascum, I think, from that I sowed last year, in which case they'll be lovely. You've seen the logs. And then over here we've got some wild carrot, we've got some catmint, then over here this bit's nettles and white, what's it called? White something begins with a B. Forgotten it anyway. But that goes romping about. What is it called? There's a black and a white one. But anyway, I don't know. And then this is all just around the pond. It's quite quiet around the pond today. It's not sunny enough really for the damselflies. but that's all, yeah, they've had loads of egg laying on there, and we had some frog spawn in there this year as well, so hopefully in there there's some tadpoles. And then come further on, there's the bench of joy, and then that bit of hedge there. So all the rest of the hedge is privet that was here when I moved in, but this bit is actually wild hedge, so I put in just sort of native species there, so that's looking nice. Then we've got some green alkanet, buttercups, got some oregano growing, there's a pesky salsify in there, all sorts of things I can't remember the name of. There's a buddleia there, and then we've got all these brambles here, and our neighbour gets a bit grumpy about them, so I'm trying to manage them so he doesn't get grumpy. Don't know why he gets grumpy, but so I'm taking the tops off them in the hope that it'll actually form a really thick place for wildlife to hide. So, and I've got this so that I can get through to more of it. I've made a little passage there, which I quite like the thought of hiding in. That sort of thing. When I was little, I'd go and hide, because if I go in, look, if you can go in here, I could make a little den under there. That's what I could do, and then I could hide there. Or alternatively, because I'm a bit less flexible and a bit taller these days, foxes could go. I think I have foxes hiding around here, and hopefully the fox would be able to hide in there. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to manage it now, to make it a nice thick habitat which doesn't grow too tall, but is great for wildlife. So that's the plan for that. And I think that's just about it. So it's looking, well, I'm very happy here. It's looking splendid. As I say, it seems to be much further ahead, really, than this time last year. Although, if I looked at a video last year, it probably would be about the same. But it feels like it feels quite full. Nearly everything's out, which it wouldn't normally be. I'd have a lot of these things. The tomatoes wouldn't be out. I wouldn't even grow. The sweet corn wouldn't be out. The French beans wouldn't be out, the pumpkins wouldn't be out, and in fact the little bit of frost shows why they wouldn't be out. But apart from that night, it would have all been good, but they seem to have recovered. So yeah, there we go. That's what's happening here at the moment, so we shall see. All right then, hope you enjoyed. Bye bye.